It's time for us to play a little bit of a game I like to call Fact or Fiction. And today's Fact or Fiction is going to be about the Big Beautiful Bill. Hi, I'm Kevin Snyder. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney in Irvine, California, really. Irvine's our home base. We have offices all over the state. Today's Fact or Fiction is on the Big Beautiful Bill because that is the biggest, arguably beautiful, maybe not. That's the Fact or Fiction bill that we've had in quite some time. So, for those of you paying attention at home, you know back in July, on July 4th, President Trump signed the Big Beautiful Bill. H.R. 1 is the official numerical name for it in Congress, but it's the One Big Beautiful Bill Act referred to in the newspapers that you've read about. So, we're going to do a little fact or fiction. Here it goes. This is what it looks like. So, I hear that the Big Beautiful Bill is only for the wealthy. Fact or fiction? Fiction. It is not just for the wealthy. Yes, some components of the bill are very advantageous for the wealthy, particularly the threshold for estate tax exemptions, which is going to be 15 million upwards adjusted for inflation beginning January 1st. So if that affects you, you're on the wealthier side of the table. And so that will be a benefit for you. However, there are provisions in the bill that affect everybody, especially the income tax brackets being frozen at their current rates and not being elevated as they were intended to be as of January 1st with the sunset of the last Trump tax bill, which was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act from 2017. That going away was going to elevate the income tax brackets upwards about 3%. Well, the Big Beautiful Bill says, nope, that's not going to happen. We're going to leave them at the current levels. So that's a break for everybody, particularly those that were at the margins of those tax brackets. So that's a huge savings. There's some other savings in there that everybody can take advantage of, particularly with the standard deductions. If you do use standard deductions on your income tax return, there's an extra little buffer in there, increasing the standard deduction and then increasing the standard deduction for seniors as of next year. So all that is for everybody, not just the wealthy. So that's why that's a fiction. Now the other fact or fiction, I can wait until the rules take effect to update my planning because this doesn't go into effect to January 1st. So I'll just wait until the new bill goes into effect and then I'll do my planning next year. Well, that is fiction. That is fiction. And the reason why that is fiction is because there are some elements of this bill that you will want to take the time now to do updates to your planning before January 1st, because after January 1st, you're going to miss some opportunities. And some of those are going to be really harsh for the people that I'm talking about. One example would be individuals that are receiving Medicaid. In California, we call that Medi-Cal. Those people receiving Medicaid now are going to want to revisit their planning now in order to do some preventative planning before January 1st comes, because what we don't want to happen, January 1 comes and then all of a sudden those people receiving Medicaid are now disqualified. So just keep that in mind. Medicaid is going to require us to do some planning in advance if we're seniors and we're 65 years of age and older and receiving Medicaid. Those of people receiving Medicaid that are younger than that, there are going to be work restrictions that don't go into effect right away. I'm talking about seniors. So if you know a senior that is receiving Medicaid, again, Medi-Cal in California, or is likely to in the future, then those are people that need to act now before January 1st. So next fact or fiction is the bill could actually help some families saving on taxes. Well, yeah, fact, right? We just talked about this in a different scope. So the Big Beautiful Bill is not just for the wealthy. It's going to help people across the board save taxes. And whether this is a beautiful thing or not depends on whether you are a victim to other impacts of the bill. So, for example, those seniors, yeah, great, they might save on taxes theoretically, but they're getting a bigger cost burden because now they're not eligible for Medicaid, Medi-Cal in California, and they have to pay more out of pocket. So sure, they might save a little bit on tax, but net, they're losing money. But for other people that are not seniors in there, well, there's going to be some tax savings, potentially. Of course, if you're using standard deductions, this might be a neutral bill for you because you might not gain anything out of it. because you're using the standard deductions. It's only going to help you minimally. You're not using any line item deductions. So it may be not really consequential to you at all, better or worse. But there are going to be more people that are going to save on taxes. So this is a good thing from that perspective. Last fact or fiction. My current estate plan will automatically adjust. There's a change in the law, and that's all right. That's fine. I don't have to do anything because in the scope of doing my estate planning, I got the automatic changing trust where it just automatically updates according to the law. Well, of course. I mean, that's just false, right? That's fiction because there is no estate planning, no will, no trust, no powers of attorney, healthcare directives that automatically adjust to the change of law. It just doesn't happen, right? We don't have magic documents. This is not Harry Potter or some Fantasia. This is reality. This is you need to update your planning when there's a change on the law sometimes. So how do you know whether you have to update it or not? Well, you've got to go talk to somebody that does know. That's what my job is a lot of times is I'm meeting with people that already have plans in place. So maybe I didn't put those plans in place originally, but I'm meeting with them years on down the road because there's some event that occurred in their life or there's been some change of law, and we're talking about how that relates to their planning, whether their planning still makes sense, and whether they need to make some updates to their planning. So a trust is not forever in the sense that the one you have created years ago is going to need to evolve with your life and with the law so that the outcomes that you want, now the outcomes you want may not have changed. You might want the same outcomes, but your plan might no longer be able to achieve those outcomes like it once did. So now we have to update it so that it can still achieve the same outcomes. So the moral of the story there on that is that we need to periodically review your plan. So if you have an old plan that you haven't had anyone take a look at in a while, now would be a great time. Now would be a great time to do it before January 1 because we just don't know whether or not that big, beautiful bill is going to impact you positively or negatively at face value. So just don't listen to the buzzwords in the newspaper or on television or on the radio. Actually go seek out that advice. So if you'd like a chance to do a review and have me or one of my team members take a look at your planning, happy to help you out. Just give our office a call. We'll set you up for a trust review. And so that's one big lesson out of here. Whenever we have a big change in our lives or the law, that is going to require someone to take a look to make sure that we're either okay or we can get the things done to make sure that we're still okay. So that's what we do here at Snyder Law. So that's our game of fact or fiction for today. Come back in the future. We're going to have more fact or fiction games. You can check us out on YouTube. We're going to host some of those videos there. And in the meantime, if we could be of service to you, happy to help. I'm Kevin Snyder, Snyder Law, and you continue to be amazing.